Welcome to our national agency call. We're fired up coming at you today. I am in my military gear because we are going to be militant about taking care of our financial situation, and hopefully I'll be able to share some things with you after our leaderboard that will help you move forward. And that's all we're trying to do, man. One step closer to where you want to be financially, and man, hopefully where you want to be in your life in all aspects. You know, we hope that you don't just view our system as a system that just helps you financially, but a way to get your mind right, get your life right, get your relationships right through the things that hopefully we can share with you. Anyway, so I got my, actually this is a Nike beret, and I thought, man, this is cool. I wear this. I'm starting a new trend, man. I'm a trendsetter. The amber glasses, got the beret on, and you know, and I'll tell you what, man, that's one thing about the military, the discipline that it requires to, you know, it's funny because, you know, you associate discipline with the military. They actually discipline you. So while there may be certain aspects of self-discipline, if you don't show up, man, you're getting a reprimand, you're getting a write-up, you're getting, I mean, it's pretty severe, you know, because you're talking about, you know, the military where you desert, you're a traitor, and you get executed. So, I mean, there's that aspect of the military. But here's what I love about the military thing is that if you treated your business, you know, like you were your own, you were the general in your own army, and you were also the soldier, like how great would that be, man? Anyway, very fired up. Let's go ahead and I think we got more people joining us, so I appreciate your time with me. Hopefully I will make it productive and fruitful for y'all. All right, so let's talk to Mr. Shilio. He is on his phone, so let me see if I can remember. I think it's 845, right, Vinny? Let me unmute 845. Vinny.
Good morning,
Hello?
Alex.
Ah, there it is. I memorized your area code from last time. So there's a few brain cells in this noggin right here. Dude, you killed it. So, man, it's funny how last week we talked about the value sell, and man, that video's been getting a lot of hits. So to talk us through your week, man, how did you sell 3 outs for $11,893?
Okay, well, actually it was all done in one day on Saturday. I went out on Saturday, had 2 appointments. The first one was for a 73-year-old woman for mortgage protection. She'd done a refinance, and we sat down and looked at some possible options for her, and she did not feel the term was going to work for her because she would only be eligible for a 10-year term, and she's got longevity in her family, so it didn't make sense. It probably wasn't going to actually be there when she needed it. So we started to look at other options. We looked at the Universal Life, Smart UL with Foresters, and that was the one that actually was the best fit for her. It wasn't as pricey as a whole life policy, and it got her the coverage she was looking for, with some flexibility and some cash value, and a permanent policy that'll actually be there for her when she does need it, so, or when her family needs it.
What's the amount of insurance? Like, what's the face value and roughly the premium on that?
We did a $50,000 Smart UL for her, and that was what made sense for her financially. She had a larger mortgage than that, but to go more than that was going to be a challenge for her financially. So I basically told her what I tell all my clients: go with what's comfortable for you. Get something in place that's going to help your family. If you know, if I show up and hand a $50,000 tax-free check to your family, is that going to help them? And she said, absolutely, and that's what we did. You know, she would have liked to have gotten more, but it wasn't going to be feasible for her based on her financial situation, and this gave her something that helped her towards her goal. And that's what I try to do. I try to give them, all my clients, something that's going to help them towards their goal. It may not be the full amount of the mortgage. I rarely ever write the full amount of the mortgage, especially when you're working with older clients. They're not going to be able to, to afford that. So her premium was about $201 a month, which is right around where she was comfortable. And that's what we did for her.
Yeah, Vinny, that's important, isn't it? Because sometimes you have to break the news to them that they can't get the whole thing covered. But when you talk about something that's more feasible, something that makes sense, such as a permanent policy that will pay out when she dies versus a term that she could outlive, all of a sudden it's like starts to make sense. Isn't 50,000, I love how you say it. You say exactly the way I say it. Would 50,000 hurt or help your family? What are they going to say? That would be a big chunk of money that they can use and be able to refinance the house, use the house as an income property to rent, whatever the case may be. So I love how you phrase that question.
Yeah, no, I give you the credit for that because that's exactly where I got that from. The value of, hey, would this check, this tax-free check to your family help you? And, overwhelmingly the answer is going to be yes. Nobody's going to say no. Nobody's going to turn around money or turn down money rather, tax-free. So yeah, that's definitely the way I position it. And I did get that from you. So thank you.
You're welcome.
You take a little bit from everywhere, right? You get a piece here, a piece there.
You got to steal, baby. We give you permission to steal everything.
Well, it's actually it's not stealing. It's I would like to refer to it maybe as emulating somebody that knows more about this business than you.
Yeah, duplication, right?
Yeah, exactly. If it works, it works, and if it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
That's right. So tell us about the other ones. You did 3 apps?
I did. So that was the small one. It was $2,400 in premium. The next appointment was a young couple. This was the one I was telling you about last week that I felt they were candidates for the National Life Group IUL, where I was going to actually do my first IUL with National Life Group. And I went in there, and it was a young couple, 34 years old. They're just new to the States from Canada. And they liked Foresters. So we went with, Foresters, obviously a Canadian company, and they were familiar with Foresters. They liked Foresters. They liked Whole Life better than Universal. I showed them both. And, far be it from me to tell somebody, this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
I would have liked to steer them down the road. I tried to steer them down the road of the IUL, but they wanted to do Foresters Advantage Plus Whole Life. After we went through everything.
Canada.
There you go. So yes, I wrote them each. They had a $750,000 mortgage in Mount Kisco, which is an affluent area in Westchester County. They just bought a beautiful, nice home, and I said, okay, let's take a look at your income. What do you bring in, contributing to the household? And they were pretty close. The husband was maybe a little bit more, 55, 45, sort of around that range. So we decided to break the mortgage, the amount of the mortgage in half. We did $400,000 on the husband and $300,000 on the wife, non-medically. The whole idea was to not put them through that because, I explained to them their odds are about less than 50-50, about 45% of getting an application
That's right.
Actually issued if you go full medical, and it's much more invasive, much more time-consuming, and sometimes things show up that you're not even aware of, and could be an adverse decision. You may get rated, you may get declined. So I said, let's do this. They were young enough where it didn't really matter, especially with Advantage Plus, and I found that out quite a while ago that there's not a big difference in premium between full medical and non-medical with Advantage Plus.
Absolutely,
it's a very small amount. Yep. And I said, it doesn't make sense to do that, to put yourself at risk. I said, let's do it the right way. Let's do it where, we're going to get this done for you in about a week. It should be painless, and we're going to, you're going to get the outcome that you're looking for. You're going to place it about 85%. And then with your ages and health, I said, you guys, I don't see a reason why they wouldn't approve you. So they were very happy with that. They really liked Advantage Plus. They liked the idea of the paid-up additions, that the policies actually grow. So that coverage is going to be worth well more than what I had written them for initially.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be in their mid-60s when their mortgage is paid off, and they're going to have quite a large cash value account and a very nice death benefit sitting in there that they can use for tax-free retirement purposes. They want to pull some of that money. They could actually skim off, 100 or 150,000 on each policy and still have what they started with, and put that in their pocket tax-free.
That's good stuff right there, man.
Yeah.
I love it. Doesn't it feel good too?
So,
like they totally trust you because you gave them something awesome. Plus, you give them the choice. So they kind of guided you guided the process, but they made their own decisions. And to me, that's just a sign of total trust, right? You probably felt really good juju with them, didn't you?
Absolutely. I spent, as I do with all my clients, I spent, appropriate amount of time, and that varies what was appropriate amount of time. It varies based on the client, the situation, but I always feel it's so important to get to know your client and let them know who you are. A little bit about you. I always tell them about NAA. I tell them about the carriers we write business with, and I tell them about me. And then I find out about them, and we have dialogue. Sometimes it may sit there for an hour or more, and not even talk about the nuts and bolts of why we're there. We're just talking and getting to know each other and getting comfortable. And that's such an important thing. And I also learned that from you, that the bond and rapport is mandatory. It has to be in place. So they don't trust you. You could stand on your head and do everything right, and they're not going to buy anything from you. They don't like you. They don't trust you. You're not going to sell anything, period. So I always take the time to do that. And it's just the way I am anyway. I mean, I can sit there and just talk to folks, and sometimes I may talk a little too much, but that's kind of the way I am. So I love to meet people, and we find out that you have so much in common. You always find something that you can say, well,
absolutely.
Well, we want to do this. We both love that, or you do that. You guys are into that. And it's just kind of a nice. It's a nice setup for when you get into the actual business at hand, where now you everything is light and at ease, and you can just really kind of go through and show them some good viable options. And yes, you're absolutely correct. I let them make the decision. I don't force anything on anybody, because that doesn't work. They got to make the decision.
That's right.
You've got to educate your clients so they understand what their options are. You got to show them the value of what you're proposing to them, and they make the decision as to what's right for them. And they felt very good about Foresters. First of all, a young family, the member benefits alone on Foresters is a very strong selling point for a young family. They have one daughter, she's about a year old, and they're expecting their second daughter. And when I told them about the orphan benefit and the scholarships and all the
Vinny,
things
why
that
don't you go
Foresters
into
does.
it? Like, we got some new people on here. Talk about the member benefits for Foresters for families.
Okay, so Foresters member benefits are outstanding, and they don't charge any premium for them. They're actually absolutely free to the client. You do have to have a minimum $10,000 face value, which is a small policy for in most cases, unless you're doing like final expense. Some of them get a little smaller, but I mean generally $10,000 is not a stretch. So they're pretty much opening it up to just about everybody. And they do quite a few things, and not everybody can take advantage of everything, depending on where they are in their life. But it's a diverse enough, portfolio of benefits that everybody could take advantage of something. So they do offer scholarships for children, grandchildren. Not everybody's children are college age. Maybe they have grandchildren. Maybe it's an older couple, and their kids are grown and out of the house, and the grandchildren may be able to benefit from the scholarship money. So that's a nice thing. And, when you have young kids, certainly that's a selling point that, hey, you can get some money for your children's education at some point.
That is, what is that? It's a competitive scholarship. I think they give
Competitive
out,
scholarship.
I think they give out like 350, something like that a year. And there's only like 400, 450 at the most that apply for it. So literally, if your kid applies for it, there's a high percentage chance that that they're going to be able to get it. And the thing that Foresters looks for in the most on the scholarship is service hours. So if your child has service hours, any amount, they're going to move them to the top of the list. But this is like what, $2,000 per college year, Vinny, I think?
They offer $2,000 per year, renewable each year, so for a total of $8,000. And yes, they do have to have 40 hours of community service across the span of a year. Could be an hour or two on weekends or evenings. I always point that out, that, hey, listen, they don't have to go out in 1 week and knock out 40 hours. They can do it over the span of a year when it's convenient for them. And they do need to keep a 2.8 grade point average, which is a passing grade. They're not asking for pie in the sky. They're not asking for a 4.0 or a perfect score or anything like that. They obviously want their members' families to be able to get the benefits. And, I think they're more interested in the community service aspect than they are actually in the grades. I mean, they're not going to give money to fail out, obviously. But, the way I look at it and the way I present it is, listen, not everybody is capable of getting a 3.5 or a 4.0. But if you apply yourself, you certainly could pass. And that's all they're asking you to do. Right? So that's a nice benefit that works for, again, younger and older clients, because no to children or grandchildren, which is nice. The second one is the orphan benefit. That's the one that when I'm working with a young family, I'll always emphasize the importance of this, because God forbid something happens to the parents, and it happens. It's a horrible thing, but it's reality. You hear about it all the time. Especially in today's world. Young kids are out there driving around, texting with their heads buried in the phone. You go to the store and you don't come back sometimes. It's sad, but it's true. So the bottom line, if something happens to mom and dad, the caregiver for those children will get $900 a month through the age of 18 per child. That's per child. Take care of those children. So Foresters does your job for you when you pass away. They will pay the death benefit tax-free to your beneficiary, as any insurance carrier will. But in addition to that, they'll take care of your family. They'll provide for monies to raise your children, to make sure they have, what they need in life. And that goes to the age of 18, and then they stop that. And then when they turn 18, they open up an additional $24,000 in orphan scholarship money, which is $6,000 per year over 4 years, to help those children get an education, which is outstanding. I've never seen a company do anything like this in any business. It's unheard of. So that in itself right there, I think, was one of the things that helped me close that deal with that young couple on Saturday.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then they do other things, which is nice. They do, they have the legal and financial services where they'll do a complimentary will. And that's great for all my clients, that, hey, listen, if you don't have a will, you should have one. You want to make sure that your assets and your property goes to your family and not to the state or creditors or whatever. You need to make sure that, you protect that. And Foresters will do that for you, complimentary. If you have a simple will, if you have a very complex will with a lot of properties and a lot of assets, they will charge a fee. It's still less than you would pay a private attorney, but they will charge a little bit of a fee. But simple will, have one home, one retirement account. It's pretty straightforward stuff. They'll do the will for you, complimentary for no charge. And if you do have a will existing, they will do a complimentary update. Basically, you have to keep your will current as your life changes, and they will do that for you. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking about that, Bruce, with Foresters that took over for Darwin, when I was down at the hot spot in Clark, New Jersey. a while ago when he first came on, and
Yeah.
he had done a great presentation on that. And he says, "Hey, would you like to get a complimentary well done?" And just like kind of nonchalant, and it's the way he presented it, and he's like, "Is anybody going to say no?" And I said, "No, of course not. Why would you? And you go to attorneys. I had one client that just went to an attorney. I was telling them about this, and they got a quote of $5,000 to do a will.
Oh my gosh! Seriously?
Yeah, that's the $5,000 in your pocket, and Foresters would do it for free. So
amazing.
Again, a very nice benefit that they offer. They do grant money. They have qualifications, criteria on their website for grants. If you wanted to put in for grant money, you want to do something with your town or community or your school or church or whatever it may be. They have some criteria. You can check that out. And I think they gave out $4.5 million last year in grants to their members, which is quite a chunk of change. Yeah, we're not talking about a couple of bucks here. We're talking about millions. So if you did put in and you did meet the criteria, you probably would get it. And of course, they do the event sponsoring around the country, which is things that you can go volunteer for, like playground bills, things like that they do. They're very involved in all the communities, that their members are in, and they do these things all around the country. And you can go sign up and give back in your spare time if you want to contribute, give back a little bit. But they also do family fun events, which I think is the most utilized of all the member benefits. And essentially, they sponsor events at ball games, concerts, amusement parks, things that you could do with your family and have some fun. They want to encourage you to have some quality time with your family, and they know how expensive these things are. And that's their kind of way of saying, hey, look, tickets are on us. And they do charge, a nominal fee on some events, but most of them are free. And you can go and do something nice with your family, spend some quality time with your family on Foresters. And you just have to come up with spending money for the day, which helps defray the cost of doing that. Because, I know the last time you went out to a concert, I know you're a big music guy. Last time I walked into Madison Square Garden, it was about $250.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Or go to Yankee Stadium, and go for a ball game. You can drop a couple $100. Then you want to have a hot dog and a beer, and they get you over, bang you over the head. That's $30.
Yeah, I know.
So it's they get you. They got a captive audience, so they're gonna charge you accordingly. They know you don't want to eat, drink, and whatnot, buy souvenirs, all that good stuff, and they charge you quite a bit for that. So it's nice to say, hey, I got the tickets on the cuff, and all right, so it's going to cost me X amount of dollars, but at least I know I got in for free.
Yeah, I know nice. Here in the Cincinnati Reds. They pick up the ticket and like a hot dog and a drink voucher. So it's kind of cool. They really, like the expensive part of being there, they cover, anything else you want to do. But that's just really cool. Vinny, what insurance company does that, right?
Foresters.
Yeah.
That's it.
Foresters. That's right.
And then, of course, they're the main carrier that I utilize in New York. They have the full suite of products, and I have the IUL with National Life Group. I have final expense whole life with Transamerica, and I have the annuity with F&G. So Foresters is really the only company that have a full suite of products. I probably write 90% of my business with Foresters. So it helps me, to be able to sell their products when I could position, because everybody, like I said, can use one of these benefits, and we don't have all the member benefits. There's other benefits that are available in other states that aren't even in New York. So
oh, wow.
there's other stuff out there.
Know that.
Yeah, there's other stuff out there. Yeah, wow. Yeah. This is just what I know for New York, but they do have other benefits out there as well. I'm sure Karen would probably be more familiar with that, or some of the other agents out there that write business with Foresters in other states. But I know they also have an emergency relief fund for like disasters, like hurricanes, things like that. I know they have quite a few other different member benefits that they don't offer in New York necessarily, and that's a New York restriction. That's not Foresters. I'm sure they would offer it if New York would allow them to.
Right. Yeah,
New York
like
is very restrictive.
when there's a hurricane, the hurricane that went through Florida, they're writing checks for $600 for members of foresters. They just stroke a check, and these people got $600 to help them, get the necessities of life when their, houses were all wiped out. Hey, $600, man. I mean, that's means something to people that have like nothing. So,
absolutely. I mean, you can, get some shelter, get a meal, get some supplies, whatever. I mean, that's a godsend. So,
absolutely.
I actually had a client that I wrote a plan right for in New York, and she wound up moving to Florida, and we were able to get her some relief funds down in Florida.
Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
So tell us about the third app that you wrote.
Well, there was the husband and wife. The third, second, and third were the
The
couple.
husband and wife. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, it was a husband
Awesome.
and wife. What's really cool though is that last week prior, when I had written an Advantage Plus whole life for an existing client, and I told you that Jenny had sent me that. Forrest had contacted you guys and said, "Do you have an agent that can help this woman?" So she sent it to me, and I went out and I wrote it. And the strange thing was, she had a $100,000 policy with Foresters, an old product that doesn't exist anymore. It's called Big UL.
Wow.
You might be familiar with that. And there was this rider on there. Now, she thought she had a $100,000 policy. So we did her non-medically. We wrote a $35,000 Advantage Plus. She just wanted some additional coverage, and she liked the Advantage Plus when I showed it to her. So we did the Advantage Plus for her, and non-medically, and we submitted that in. And they came back that they were not able to approve that policy. And I questioned it. I said, well, why? And they said, because she's got $200,000 total coverage. And apparently there was this rider, an enhanced benefit rider, they called it, on there for another $100,000. So I said, well, is that rider permanent? Does it drop off at a certain age or a certain amount of years, like a lot of riders do? I said, I need to understand more about this rider, and is there something we can do to help this client? So they put me through a whole bunch of runaround. Well, you're not the agent of record. I said, well, I explained why. I said the agent is no longer active, and you guys contacted my agency manager to help this client. So they said, well, okay, we'll waive the producer change form, because they wanted me to go all the way 3 hours away to go get this client to sign his form so I can be her producer of record. And I said, well, would you be able to maybe just get her to give her blessing? She goes, if you have her call and add you on as an authorized person, we'll accept that. So I called her and told her. She said, absolutely. She called and told them that they add me on, and I called back. And I got the Enforce team, and they took a look at it and explained what was going on. And she came back and she said, I'm so sorry that you were given bad information. She said, that rider expired on January 2018. And she only has $100,000 of death benefit, and she is certainly eligible. And they reopened the case, and it's been issued. So
wow.
She was so happy, this woman, and she said, well, let me ask you something else. She said, what else do you do? And I said, can you expand on that a little bit? She says, well, I want to put some money away every week. And, I said, well, if you want to do an annuity, maybe we can do something. You want to do a lump sum? She says, no, I want to do it on a weekly basis. I'm not familiar with F&G as far as being able to like put in. She wants to put in $400 a week. I said, I've only done lump sums with them. I don't know if that product exists. I can find out for you. And then we just started talking. I said, maybe an IUL would make sense. So she said, okay, I want to put $1,600 a month in, and I'm going out tomorrow to sit with her to look at the National Life Group IUL at an annual premium of $19,200.
Touchdown. Dude, out of a free lead because you were in the area, plus you're one of our top producers, it's like, the rich get richer in our business. But the agent that cares about the client gets richer. Dude, that is just, again, epitome of your service. Of all the service you've done for clients in the past, you just, get rewarded with something like that. What do you say to agents like, well, I don't get any of those clients where I run leads? Like, what do you have to say to those guys? either you could just stay in a county that doesn't have a demographic, but you go to counties that have a pretty decent demographic, right?
My counties are in the New York City suburbs, Westchester County, Putnam, Dutchess, Orange, Rockland, which there are some very affluent areas. However, we don't tend to get those high-end clients because they have their own people, right? They all have their
They
own,
do.
accountants and attorneys and insurance agents and all of that. So you don't really get those clients. Again, our market is more the middle of the road folks, which some are higher end middle, some are lower end middle. Obviously, you get a little bit of everything. Don't get me wrong, there are some really tough areas in some of the counties that I run, and there are lower income areas, and so you do get those clients as well. The reason that this one, came back to me was because she saw what I did for her. I went the extra, I could have just accepted what Forrester said and said, okay, I'm sorry, but they want to prove you have too much coverage. You're not eligible, at your age beyond 150,000 total net amount at risk. So you're past that, so I can't do anything for you. I didn't do that. I didn't accept that answer, and I challenged Forrester's on it. And listen, they all make mistakes. People make mistakes. I've had many instances where I was given bad information or a circumstance that didn't make sense, and I challenged it. And sometimes they pan out, sometimes they don't. But you have to try. I always go the extra. I always go to bat for my clients. I go the extra mile. And she saw that and she appreciated it. She said, "You did an outstanding job. What else do you do? I have some money I want to do something with, and I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you the opportunity." So
Wow.
I said, let me work on that and come back to you. And I got on the phone with National Life Group yesterday because it's a new product to me, as I said to you last week. I have not written one yet. And I thought I was going to write on that young couple, which I wrote the Advantage Plus. But listen, it worked out the way they wanted it. And I probably would have been around the same premium. It's, I think I compared the Advantage Plus product to the National Life Group, and the premiums are fairly close. So it probably would have been about the same thing anyway. But I got on the phone with them and I said, I need some help here. I'm running an illustration. I told them what the scenario was. And I said, I'm trying to find, the sweet spot for this client. And I said, I did this, this, and this. And can you show me, is there a better way to approach this? And I went through a nice young lady, Nicole. She went through the whole thing with me. And she said, what you did is the best we're going to be able to do. And I said, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. You taking a look at that. I just figured I was going to go to the experts in case I didn't, I wasn't that well versed in it. Maybe I wasn't running the best case scenario for her. Just so happens that I was. I figured it out kind of just, from my knowledge of other, quoting software out there. So she said, no, she said, you did the right thing. And that's the way I would present it as well. So I just called her this morning before I got on the call, and I'm going out to see her tomorrow, show her what it looks like, bring the paperwork, and whether we do it or not, at least we're going to show her what can be done, and maybe it's a variation of it or whatever works for her. I'm going to do whatever she wants to do, and I will help her any way that I can, and that's all that I can offer. So
Good stuff, dude. Man, I'm so proud of you. You are really the consummate insurance professional. I mean, really, seriously. I mean, I don't just throw that out there. I think you really know your business and you know your product, and then you seek to learn. Like you're always learning something new, and not relying totally on your knowledge, but just going out there and going after the information. Because Vinny, don't the carriers educate you? Like you call them up, they will educate you on everything that you need, right, to make a sale. So
absolutely, they want you to be successful and sell their products. How do they make any money if you're not selling their products? So they're more than happy to spend time with you and walk you through, especially if you're just learning their product, or it's a new company, it's new to you in your area or whatever, or you're a new agent and you're just learning this stuff. they're very happy to spend time with you and say, hey, yeah, this is what you can do. Let's get your client the best scenario that we can give them, and go out and sell it. And they're more than happy to do that. And I do appreciate the compliment. It means a lot coming from you, Alex. You've probably forgotten more about this business than I'm ever going to know, and for you to say that means a lot to me. So thank you.
Yeah, dude, I'm proud of you, and I appreciate you so much. I know your heart is just so there with clients. I mean, that's why these things will happen for you, gang. If you go out there and serve, that whole mindset of serving others, man, it always comes back. You're sowing good seeds with people, man. So couldn't be more proud, Vinny, in an environment of New York where most people think, oh, I don't want to hire agents in New York. They only have 3 companies, but you still make it work, bro. And just real proud of you, man. So keep rocking. Let us know how that case goes with that woman. And appreciate you, dude. You rocked it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I hope it'll be on the leaderboard for next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely looking forward to that. But anyway, so we are at the end of our thing. So anyway, some of you want to know how Jeannie's doing. She's going through chemotherapy right now. She did her 2nd chemo treatment yesterday. For those of you who don't know, she was diagnosed with breast cancer in December. 2 months ago, she had a double mastectomy, and then we're going through chemo. So she's in her 2nd chemo treatment. And, man, she's got a great attitude. Her hair's coming out, though, and that's one of those hard things. So she asked me if I could shave her head, so I did last night. It was funny. She had a great attitude about it. She actually looks pretty good because she's just losing clumps of hair. So what I did Sunday, I wanted to surprise her. So I shaved my head off. So that's why I had my beret on. So this is like the big reveal. So I shaved mine off on Sunday before church. So when she saw me like this for the first time, when she came to the 2nd service, she was like shocked. She said I didn't have to do this before because I said, I'll be down with doing it. And she said, no, you don't got to do it. She let me off the hook. So I, got the wild hair because her hair was just coming out in clumps. It's like, when you go into the shower and you see a big clump of hair like off to the side, it's just, golly, man. So I decided before church, I just shaved my head because I got my own clippers. So, man, and my reputation in the Alliance was the guy with the hair, the spikes and everything. So it's interesting to do this because I look at myself in the mirror. It's like, who is that guy? I look like a Shaolin priest from Kung Fu. For all you baby boomers who know that the series Kung Fu, So anyway, I did it, and it looks like really different. I didn't realize my head was so round. So I got the round head. And so which is good because I had no clue. Last time I did this to my hair was when I was a cadet at the Air Force Academy in basic training. I had the late 70s feathered, parted down the hair down to my shoulders haircut, and then they just shaved that sucker off. So this kind of reminds me of that time, and I can't used to do this there. I just rub my head because it's all bristly and stuff. So anyway, gang, I'm going to go into detail tomorrow on our builders call on the stuff I've learned by going through this with Ginny, the cancer thing, that I think might help you overcome whatever challenges you're overcoming. I'm going to do it on our builders call tomorrow at 11 a.m. after the activity call. So anyway, this is really weird looking at me in the monitor. It's actually shining off my head. You can see my backlight. Anyway, gang, I'm proud to be serving you. Use me and abuse me. I can help you. You can get as good as Vinny if you do what you need to do to get there. Do what he did, was work his butt off, get educated, and put more work in. And man, let's rock it. You can be on the leaderboard next week. Just get with us, get with Ginny. She is, she was kind of wiped out yesterday. But she will make opportunity available to you to talk to her about getting leads in your hands so that you can get out there and start serving families, man. So that's what it's about serving people, loving people. Love all, serve all. That's, I think, the Hard Rock Cafe motto. That's what we do, man. Save the planet. God bless everybody. Let's rock.